Welcome, Earthlings, to the latest episode of the Wreak Havoc Film Bus Podcast. I'm your host, Dan Sellers, along with my deadly viper co-host, Mr.
Ooh, I don't get a cool snake name or something? What? I don't. I can't be Black Mom.
My moccasin.
Moccasin. My water moccasin. I can't swim. I'm the water moccasin. Copperhead.
My copperhead. My silverhead.
Silverhead Copperhead.
Co-host.
Mr. Sammie Castle. Damn, that was messed up.
Oh, God, that's pretty good. We're here once again with our pal and fellow filmmaker, Mr.
Joey, insert snake name Martin.
Snake Plissken.
Do you need another beer? I got some more Bud Light.
I mean, if you're offering, I'll take it.
I mean, does anyone need another beer?
Saturday night.
Screw it.
We're hanging out.
Yeah, we're just getting just starting to jump into Kill Bill volumes 1 and 2, and that's a lot to talk about. So we may need a few beers here. And Sammie has left the room, so
On my command.
Your command.
Por favor. Or, I don't know. Thank you.
Joey and his Spanish vampire.
So, Joey, unless you think of something you'd like to drop at the beginning of the episode, I would like to go ahead and just remind audiences to make sure to come to
Easy
the
for you to say.
Wreak Havoc Horror Film Festival, the 4th annual Wreak Havoc Horror Film. I know, right?
4 years?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
4th annual Wreak Havoc Horror Film Festival in the Crown at the Carolina Theater, September 21st, which will be the Friday, the next week after this episode drops. So we'll be there Friday and Saturday, and I'm very proud to say that Saturday, the 22nd, we will be having the world premiere of my latest directorial effort, Trouble Will Cause, the true crime documentary.
Which I haven't watched all of yet.
And which
My bad, I'm
Sammie's
sorry.
executive producer. That's all right.
I'm sorry. So many hours.
I'm really excited about that.
I am too. I actually think I want to wait till the film festival to watch
Which
it.
is fine, yeah. That's a good way to do it.
Because I want to see it with a live audience.
I know what I've seen. It looks pretty cool.
Well, cool. Thank you.
Especially since I've lived near that area.
Yeah.
And it's just interesting. And
Yeah.
everything that everybody, all the locals have said, and just being like that.
Yeah.
And from all the art direction you're going with it and everything,
you.
it looked really, really interesting
man.
and
Thank you.
unique.
I can always get a kind of feel where people are from when I tell them about this movie, and they goes, "I've never heard of that." Like if you're kind of from that area, you know the story. If you're from Stewart,
I have
it.
a friend who is a couple years behind, or maybe a year behind me in high school, who is a Lawson. And when she heard about it, she was like, oh, really? And next thing you know, they're talking about it on Facebook, and she's getting all the family involved. And I was like, well, that's
If
kind
I'm
of
not
cool.
mistaken, for a couple of years, the family lived in Stewart.
Yeah.
Before they moved to
That's Susan.
Germantown.
I mean, Susan's a Lawson.
Yeah.
And she knew that was part of her family that was, I don't know.
Yeah, it's kind of weird. I feel a little bit weird having it at the horror film festival because it's not really horror, but it's a horrific thing, which doesn't necessarily translate into horror. But true crime, at least in my mind, is kind of like the cousin of horror, and unfortunately, I guess you'd say. But
well, we're not showing 18 Sammie films this year, so we got to have something to show. It's not haunting.
At the end of the day, it's our festival. It's our film.
Exactly.
We do what the hell we want, So
I'm begging to get my 1 minute movie in there, but that's about it.
But I'm very proud to be showing that one, and I think we shouldn't say anything about it, but I think we've actually got plans now for the film we're going to show of ours at next year's film festival. We really shouldn't say anything about it yet, but that's pretty cool.
We're headed in a direction.
I know. So guys, look up WreakHavocHorrorFilmFest.com. We're on Facebook, and tickets are $20.
Yeah. Got some good stuff.
We were supposed to do a Facebook Live thing tonight too, but I forgot that's okay. That's all right.
Maybe we'll just record something.
Yeah. So.
And Facebook Live delayed.
Anything else you guys want to bring up before we jump into Kill Bill?
I don't know.
So
Tarantino,
we got time. We don't have.
I'll plug everything at the end.
That's cool. All right, so we're gonna start with volume 1.
Okay, let me start this with my story.
Start your story.
I am a pretty big Tarantino fan, but I wasn't when these movies came out. I wasn't a super big fan, but I was
15 years ago.
Really, God Almighty! I was
think about
really. I had seen this. I was a huge kung fu movie. That was one of mine and my dad's things. My youngest daughter would not let me watch it in the movie theater. She would not let me watch Kill Bill Volume 1 on video, on DVD. She said they both had to come out and we could watch them back to back. So we had to wait on them to come out on DVD to watch them. And we watched them in the van on a 9-inch screen on the way to Tampa, Florida to get on a cruise ship. And that's how we watched them. I don't know what she got triggered about this, that she wanted to see this, and that's the way she wanted to watch it, but that's the way we watched it.
And I would argue that's not a great way to watch the film.
It's a terrible way to watch it, but you know what? When we got done, I wanted to watch it again.
Oh, of course. Yeah, this is a very rewatchable
Oh, yeah.
movie. It's a lot of fun to watch.
You talk about a cold opening.
Oh, yeah.
Here, let's almost kill a woman right off the bat.
Opens up with a old Klingon proverb.
Like the Star Trek Klingon?
Revenge is a dish best served cold.
Is that originally from that?
It's
Or is
not
it-
originally from Star Trek, but
Is that a joke?
it's a joke, yeah.
Yeah.
But that was something the Klingon said that I think was actually Khan from Wrath of Khan popularized. As
Now-
we'll get into a little bit later, Tarantino's a big Star Trek fan, which comes up into his
Y'all
upcoming,
think?
his upcoming work.
You know, I've also heard he's a big Foot fan.
You don't say.
My God.
So you mean you've seen a Tarantino film? That's all you
yeah.
got to do to know that.
Yeah, well, when I saw Kill Bill Volume 1 in the theater, and that was my first ever Quentin Tarantino movie I'd
Really?
seen. Yes. And I enjoyed it. And
I've seen From Dusk to Dawn.
I've seen everything he had done. Reservoir Dogs, From Dusk Till Dawn, Pulp
I haven't
Fiction,
seen
and I've
Jackie
still
Brown.
never
I've
seen
seen
really
Pulp
those
Fiction.
movies either.
Oh,
so.
man. So,
I think I saw Pulp Fiction after this.
the way I saw it, I knew I was very familiar with him from all that. And then seeing these in theaters, I knew right off the bat, this is a huge departure for him. He's never made anything like this.
Morgan loves this movie so much, that was her ringtone. She would call me, and that's what would play.
Yeah,
Bang, bang.
like,
It's Bang Bang.
I went through all the song. I love songs and movies, and this whole soundtrack is
And
amazing. So I had all the ringtones on my little flip Motorola, whatever they had back then.
And she is not a kung fu fan. I don't know what it is about this movie that just struck a chord with her.
Well, I think it's kind of empowering for a woman to
Yeah,
see
I guess.
these female characters kick ass like they do.
They are some badasses. Ain't no
Here's one
doubt.
thing I love about Tarantino is that he's willing to be somewhat flexible, but at the same time he's very uncompromising. And what I mean by that is he had this vision in his head for this 4 or 5 hour movie. He was not willing to compromise. So, but he was flexible enough to say, you know what, 2 films. And we're gonna do almost 2 different genres back to back, a year apart. And right off the bat,
Start off with a kick-ass fight between 2 women.
great fight in a house, a suburban house, with a soccer mom.
And there's some great. I mean, all the fights in here, but there's 2 really good house fights. Well, a house on a trailer.
Yeah,
And I just like how in the Volume 1, everything, the storyline is non-sequential.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
this is actually the second victim that she's killing off on her list. So to start off with this one, with the action going right off, and build up to that first one where it's more, there's way more build up and suspense with Oren. I just like the way he just decided to like split this up and do it like non-sequential like that. Especially in the Volume 1, the editing and everything, like the editing is just the way stuff is edited is
And
very creative.
Yeah.
And the thing is, and you get this out of a lot of the actors in this movie, especially the women. I mean, the last thing you saw Vivica Fox in was probably Independence Day, where she was like this. She was kind of cool, but she wasn't a badass. You know, Uma Thurman wasn't necessarily. I don't remember what she did before this, but anyway, they're kind of not cast
I mean,
in.
she's been a very busy actress up until this point.
Well, yeah,
Most notably Pulp Fiction, I'd say.
yeah, but still, she's kind of. She's not. It's a different kind of character.
Oh, yeah.
One thing that I've noticed on rewatches that I really, really like is you have all this like absurd violence and stuff going on with normal real world stuff that kind of normalizes this absurd violence, so it all makes it normalized.
Yeah.
Like, it's not crazy that this person has come into her house and broken everything
we
and gone.
accept it pretty easily. Yeah. And you do get the sense that
Batman and Robin.
Both
She
of them
played
were Batman
Poison
and Robin.
Ivy.
Unfortunately, that's a horrible movie. She was this person years ago, and now she's become this housewife and soccer mom, whatever. But she's still got the capability to defend herself.
And the beep. I was like, why the hell did they beep her name out? Didn't make any sense
I
whatsoever.
still don't know why they beat her name out. I mean, after two films, I mean, I get that they're trying to withhold her name, but to what purpose? I still don't.
I don't know.
It's just a weird thing that Tarantino wanted to do. I think.
Yeah, and I think it was.
Is it because he wanted to keep her as just the bride character?
I think so.
I think so.
I maybe. I mean, at one point, someone even calls her kiddo, and you don't get. You just think they're saying like.
Because I do it all the time.
Yeah.
I call anybody younger than
But you
like
don't get
20
it until
kiddo.
Volume 2 that when you go back and rewatch it, that's what she's saying.
That's her last name.
Mm-hmm.
Almost like a Sixth Sense kind of.
This is an interesting
Red herring.
little intervention in this fight scene that they both don't want to fight in front of her daughter,
Was some coffee.
and to the point where they're going to take a break and get a cup of coffee and then resume the fight because they used to be friends before the betrayal.
This is a wild shot.
Yeah.
These split room shots that he does.
This is straight out of Taxi Driver.
Her code name was Copperhead.
Oh no, she's Copperhead. I can't be Copperhead.
You're Silverhead.
Damn it! It's not a snake.
It is now.
It's Silverback. It's a
Silverback.
gorilla.
Don't take cream and sugar, right?
So she knows enough about how she takes her coffee.
Yeah.
So I suppose it's a little late for
And you can kind of assume something's going to happen with this hot cup of coffee here in a minute,
I need to know if you're going to start any more shit around my baby girl. You can relax for now. I'm not going to murder you in front of your child.
And so you also know that the bride is a person of strong moral principles too. From this interaction, that she will kill this woman, but on her terms, not in front of a child.
I think that's within all that group. There's been chances to get some cheap kills in there, but they refrain from doing that, and that might be. I'm not.
I wish to God I had.
The whole Eastern Japanese
Philosophy,
stuff like that. That I'm not well versed in those types of movies, but that seems like something that would be influenced in their values in terms of the fighting and stuff like that in battle.
Do you think
Something
this is an
along
ethic
those-
that Bill instilled in them? Because
Yeah.
he's the common denominator. You know what I mean? He's
I don't know if it's so much Bill as Paime.
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
That's
Yeah,
true.
Paime's kind of because
But I can't.
somewhere later in one of the movies, Paime kind of talks about how Bill kind of went bad. So I think it's more Paime teaching that Eastern philosophy.
Well, and you're absolutely right. Bill's obviously diverted from this philosophy, because if he hadn't, there wouldn't have been this horrible betrayal, and you know what I mean. Thus, he wouldn't have tried to kill her, and she spent time in a coma, and I think Bud is probably the one that, Michael Madsen's character who has the least moral.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a good kill.
Yeah.
And they always tease Kill Bill 3 with the daughter here.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they said 10 years after the fact. I'm pretty sure that's long gone.
Yeah. 15 now.
Unreal.
But she does take the time to tell her, hey, look, your mama had it coming. Sorry you had to see it. And she even kind of gives her permission. Hey, if you need to get revenge, go ahead.
And he always does these weird little, like the bruising of the hands, and I don't know if he's got a hand thing too. He's got an appendage thing.
I think it's a foot thing, because not only are there shots of feet, there's discussions about feet. There's it's weird. I mean, it's every single film. Helen from Dusk Till Dawn, he sucks on Salma Hayek's feet. I mean, literally, he is an actor. It's interesting. I can't wait to see his Star Trek and see all the crew members walking around barefoot.
He's doing a Star Trek.
He's directing the next Star Trek. Yeah.
Movie?
Star Trek. Uh-huh.
Yep.
See, Padme.
That's why I said there's a connection there for
There's sections where where Padme's teachings. Yeah.
And so from looking at the list, we've already seen that she's marked out Oren Nishi.
Ishii. There's two eyes.
Sorry.
But you wonder what the hell she doing driving a truck called Pussy Wagon?
Which I think that's next, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
We see how she gets set.
This is a big foot shot too.
That's one of Tarantino's personal vehicles that he has at his house.
Nuh-uh.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
he loans it out to people.
Did you get that just for the movie, or did he have this before the movie?
No, I think it's for the movie, but he's kept it. Apparently, if you're riding in Hollywood Hills, you can tell where Tarantino lives because a pussy wagon sitting in his driveway. Now, okay, this is the most fascinating part of the opening for me, if you can still call 16 minutes in the opening. As a huge fan of the original From Dusk Till Dawn, Michael Parks plays Ranger McGraw, which he played in From Dusk Till Dawn, and which is written and stars Quentin Tarantino, written by Robert Rodriguez. Also takes place in Texas, which I'm assuming this does because he's a Texas Ranger. And if you recall, From Dusk Till Dawn was what, 94, 93? Things didn't go so well for Ranger McGraw in From Dusk Till Dawn, but here we are 10 years later, and his son.
So you're saying he's a vampire? He's standing out in the sun.
Yeah, he's immortal, but he and his son are both investigating the shooting of the bride.
But in the chronology of the movies,
well, that's what I'm saying. Where's the chronology?
Yeah.
That makes you wonder: does it matter, or if it does matter, where does it fall?
Yeah.
And
he didn't show up in Glorious Bastards, does he?
No, I remember distinctly 15 years ago sitting in the theater going, "He's fucking dead. How does he show up in this?"
But I mean, all the cars and everything is of the time, so I don't know. Nicaraguan Death
Oh, he also shows up in Death Proof, or not, Planet Terror.
Planet Terror. Yeah,
This character shows up in Planet Terror as well. Forgot about that. It just hit me.
And he actually plays two characters
In this,
yeah,
in Volume 2, right?
yeah.
Well, sure, steady hand did this.
All right, we gotta.
Oh God, I could watch this movie.
Yeah.
Now, see, you picked two. One is my favorite.
Yeah, and I love one. I love them both. But I wasn't going to do the whole Volume 1, Volume 2 on a whole top 10 thing. I like Volume 2 because I like the music. I just like... That's more of my style, the emotional, conversational, getting deep, philosophical conversation throughout that whole thing. Now, I love this one because it's more action-packed, the editing's faster.
I caught
But
myself.
the thing is, again, I don't know much about the samurai films and everything, so I don't get all the I'm sure there's a million different callbacks to a million different things that has influenced this. I don't get it all. I appreciate it, and I can see how amazing it is, but I just can't connect with it because I don't know the references.
I was walking through the house earlier today, and I was whistling that. I didn't even realize I was doing it.
That's why,
Bernard Herrmann.
I mean, they're in Japan, they have the whole bloody affair thing, which is both of them together, which is what he intended it to be. This was a ringtone of mine at one point.
So if you look at these two films, it to me at least, and I think I've even heard Tarantino talk about this too, that they're conceptualized almost as two different genres. With the first one being very much a kung fu film, and the second one almost being a western.
Yeah,
and that may not have been how they were initially conceptualized when it was one big film, but once it got broken up, it made more sense to stylistically give some sort of separation.
and just like this, I mean, this type of editing you don't see in Volume 2.
Yeah.
It's more streamlined.
That's true.
You don't get these weird transitions, these split screens, and all this other stuff.
Is he not just a master of taking older actors and actresses and giving them new life?
Reinventing them, yeah.
Travolta,
Kurt Russell.
Daryl Hannah, Kurt Russell. I mean, he's just...
Yeah.
He's Michael Madsen to some extent.
Yeah. Well, he keeps bringing him back.
I might never.
Pamela Grier.
Yep, Pam Grier.
In fact, I despise you.
That's kind of one of his trademarks as a director, is finding an old talent from years back and kind of resurrecting
Well, David
them.
Carradine.
David Carradine, that's true. Yeah. All right, I'm going to skip ahead just here a little bit. So let's talk a little bit about the cast here, the incredible cast we have. Obviously, Uma Thurman as the bride.
God, this cast is so deep.
And he said David Carradine plays Bill. Michael Madsen, Daryl Hannah, Lucy Liu, Vivica A. Fox, members of the Deadly International Viper Assassination Squad, or DIVA, for short. Yeah, hell of a cast, and
I mean, at the time, they weren't... I mean, I don't remember... I'm not a pop culture guy, but at the time, these weren't household... Maybe Lucy Liu.
Daryl Hannah was from
Uma
Splash
Thurman
way
was.
back
But
in
that
the
was
80s.
way back when.
Uma Thurman was.
well, and Uma Thurman and Michael Madsen are common people that work with Tarantino over and over.
Yeah. Which he had kind of launched Uma Thurman with Pulp Fiction,
I should watch that movie.
but Vivica A. Fox to some
It's his
extent.
best. It's his best film. I think it is, at least. I mean, I think you like Inglourious Basterds.
I like Inglourious Basterds is my favorite one, and I like this better than I do Pulp Fiction. I like Pulp Fiction.
I'm sure he would like to think his best film hasn't been made yet, but I mean,
Well, he's only going
personally, I
to
think
make
his
so many
best-
more, right? He said he's only going to make
that's
so
what he
many.
says.
Yeah.
he's on a remake trip right now. Well, I guess his new one's not going to be technically.
I hear he's got a horror movie in the pipeline. That I'd like
It's
to
got
see.
something about Hollywood or something.
Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, which
Yeah.
is currently in production, starring Brad Pitt and Leonardo DiCaprio.
Is that the Manson murders stuff?
Oh, that's a match made in heaven there.
Yeah.
Pitt, DiCaprio, and the Mansons and Tarantino. Hell yeah. Uma Thurman playing Sharon Tate.
The only thing better, somebody is playing Sharon Tate. A famous, I can't remember. It will come to me later.
Was it? She was in the skating movie, the I, Tonya, and Wolf of Wall Street, the blonde girl.
Margot Robbie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm pulling it up right now. Margot Robbie, Leo, Brad Pitt, Dakota Fanning, Al Pacino, Timothy Olyphant, Kurt Russell, James Marsden, Burt Reynolds. Good God, Tim Roth, Emil Hirsch, Luke Perry, Michael Madsen, Zoe Bell. This is like
I forgot Pacino was in that. That's exciting to me. He's one of my favorite actors. And I was just about to say that the only other project I can think of that's as exciting is The Irishman, the new Scorsese film.
Yeah.
That's De Niro and Pacino again.
Yeah.
Playing the Jimmy Hoffa story.
I'm Buck, and I like to fuck.
I cannot meet somebody named Buck without thinking in my head.
Same.
I'm here to fuck.
Yeah.
I just can't.
I'm even worse. I got a buddy that works at the horror show named Bud, and I can't look at him and think Buck and fuck. I don't. And his name is Bud.
This looks so painful.
Oh, well, you know, that's Pet Cemetery. Cutting the Achilles.
This nice little.
Oh, now
This nice little score from the RZA as well. Most of this, ooh,
Who the fuck is Bill?
please stop. Most of the music in this film is source material from other films.
It's just.
But there's a few pieces here and there that are original.
I mean, that shot just is. Ugh.
You feel bad for him for a second until you get this flashback. And you're like,
Yeah.
oh fuck him! Slam the door on his head. Do it harder.
I like to fuck.
Your name is Buck, right? And you came here to fuck.
But just this door slamming in that. Oh God, that's like the curb stomp in American History X. It's just God, I can't believe she did that. His head is narrow.
Pussy wagon. She wheels herself out to the parking garage.
And we get the foot
And
stuff.
of course, it's easy to find his truck. And now, since she's paralyzed from the waist down, because how long has she been in a coma? Years?
Yeah,
everything?
years.
After 4 years, 6 months.
Yeah.
So she literally can't walk.
Atrophied.
She can't move her.
And she has some ugly feet. She's got like monkey toes.
Are you like an expert on
Oh,
toes or
God.
something? Because I don't know.
I hate feet.
I don't know what makes a good foot, like the
I
criteria.
hate feet. Everybody's got ugly feet, but hers is especially ugly. Narrow, skinny. Ugh. I hate feet.
Well, if it's good enough for Quinten, they must
I
be.
think pretty much anything is.
Nah,
Anything-
it's- I'm
any
sure.
foot is-
I'm sure he's.
he's
I'm
down.
sure he's like he's by toes and feet like I am by boobs. It doesn't matter what size, what shape. Yeah, they're all good.
And this is an interesting. I don't know
Yes.
why the when it goes to animation like this.
It's just an homage to another.
To curse, not Cursaw.
But-
shit, who's the guy that does Howl's Moving Castle?
So it's It's a tribute to like the anime style.
Almost every scene of this film is somehow a tribute to another film.
Yeah.
And I don't want to say that it's that should take away from its originality.
Oh no.
Because the originality comes in the blending and the making it his own.
Miyazaki. But it's a very anime.
But it's just a good way to tell a story, especially a past tense story.
It's good because I'm not in the anime, but this is a good way to introduce me to something like this where I wouldn't even bother taking a look at it. Just
I don't-
introduce this type of art style.
I don't like anime.
I mean, I don't
like
either,
manga.
but it's.
But
I mean, I can
enjoy
see
this.
where
Like
I
this.
appreciate
This is cool.
this.
Yeah.
Like this is,
And it's
it's violent, but it's like beautiful.
Yeah.
and it's also a way to do that ultra violence.
Yeah, yeah.
Because like they had to turn the Crazy 88 scene to black and white because it
Yeah.
was so violent. So this was a way to do the violence.
Yeah.
Just from a
Yeah.
practical standpoint.
Yeah.
Plus an homage and
It's
plus
also so you don't have to shoot.
The whimper out of the mouth, that's just a good
Yeah.
creative way to do that.
Yeah.
oh, he's brilliant doing it. And even John Hitchcock and I were having this conversation today. The theory that everything is based on 7 stories. There are 7 stories, and that's it. And everybody just does a variation of those stories. So, I forgot where I was going with that thought.
Well, I think a revenge tale is one of the 7. This is exactly what this is, you know.
And that's, I mean, this whole, one of the things that I love about this movie and that I love about movies like this is the whole traveling to different places. Like, the settings always change. She's coming in contact with different characters. It's kind of like a road trip type movie. And I just love those type of movies where each, not scene, but each little chapter is a different scene and different characters and different world building type thing. And I'm just really into those type of storylines. It just keeps the movie fresh and going.
That's true.
It does. That's the thing about these 2 movies is that it introduces us to something different while making it also something we want to watch. You know, because that's if somebody pulled out an anime movie and said, "I've never seen Howls. I hear great things about anything Miyazaki does." But I've never watched it because it's just not a thing that I want to watch. But after this, I kind of wanted to watch something. I was like, should I watch Vampire Hunter D, or what should I watch to?
Sure.
And I think this little scene is
So
underrated from
Yeah.
it's just the conversation, and there's
Sunny.
the comedy in there a little bit just to break things up.
Sunny Chiba's amazing.
And I love how she slowly, through the course of the conversation, gives up who she is and goes from this unassuming tourist to, I'm here for a very specific reason, and you're going to help me.
Yeah,
it's amazing how
that turn
done.
is a little badass when she starts talking in
Very
Japanese,
and she convinces him to basically break this oath.
And
all you gotta do is say Bill.
Yeah,
and how deferential she is to that stuff. It's that Eastern philosophy, the honor and the love and care they give to that stuff.
she wanted a Hatara Hanzo?
Hattori
Hanzo sword.
Sharpest sword known to man.
Yeah.
I should ask. I have a guy. Have you seen my Thor hammer?
Yes, I have.
I have a guy that that makes that stuff, and they've gotten really good with making swords and stuff. And I should ask him if he can do a Hattori Hanzo
What's
sword.
it, like a lion near the hilt or
Yeah.
something? There's some type of logo down there.
When the final sword was sheathed, it was Oren Ishii and her powerful posse, the Crazy 88, that proved
They're great in this movie. I mean, this whole
the pretty lady to Oren's right, who's dressed like she's a villain on Star Trek, is Oren's lawyer.
Star Trek.
Yeah, that's right.
Insane. The half French, half Japanese Sophie Fatale.
It's so very Bondish.
The young girl in the schoolgirl uniform is Oren's personal bodyguard,
Villains.
17-year-old Gogo Yubari.
As wearing a Kato
What
mask.
she lacks in age,
Johnny
she
Mo.
makes up for.
I think it's a little bit it's a little bit to the Crazy 88 style, but I also think it kind of hides his face a little bit so you don't know he plays Pai Mei. Just another little layer.
私とやりたいんだ。笑うな。やりたいのかやりたくないのか。どっち？
She is badass too.
I mean, I don't know if these characters are based on something, but to me, they seem so unique and interesting, even though they're not on the screen that long.
Yeah. You feel like they could all have their own film.
Yeah.
You know?
Oh, I'd love
He
to
does
see.
a great job,
Suit and the Kato mask.
like presenting them and
The head general
Stuff,
of Oren's
yeah.
personal army, the Crazy 88.
Johnny Mo.
And just in case you're wondering, how could a half-breed Japanese, Chinese, American
And so they
become the boss of all
I'd love
the
to see a
bosses
go-go
in
movie.
Tokyo?
they take all this time explaining how all the people that work for her are such badasses, and then they show that she herself is also
Yes, they
a
do.
tremendous badass.
Over the crime.
Oi.
The man who seems bound and determined to break the mood is Boss Tanaka. And what Boss Tanaka thinks is...
おい一体何のつもりだよ今日は祝いの席じゃねえかあ一体何が起きてんだ
We should probably help our audio audience,
Oh yeah, because I listen to Japanese words.
or just skip through it or something.
Boss Tanaka is not happy with Oren Ishii's rise to power.
And she will not put up with that shit.
No, she won't.
Not at all.
A Chinese, Jap American half breed bitch.
He can barely get the sentence out before she jumps up on the table, barefoot, mind you,
Uh huh.
and
Cuts his head
cuts
off.
his head off.
And there comes the blood spurting. And Go-Go smiling. And Sophie smiling.
Straight out of Evil Dead 2.
One more. Another good.
All right, I'm gonna skip ahead
Musical
a little bit. I love her
interlude
little,
kind of thing.
her little speech here, but we got so much ground to cover. I think that
And the iconic song.
yeah.
another ringtone.
Did we miss the plane arriving in Japan?
Yeah, because, yeah.
Yeah. If there's about halfway through Volume 1, there's a plane arriving in Japan, and they use models from a recent Godzilla film.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they didn't make them. They just bought them. And
I like that this Japanese gang is half female, half male. He doesn't distinguish. He makes strong females, but he doesn't. When it comes to minions, he doesn't distinguish that any of them's any stronger than any of the rest of them.
that's true.
And I guess really he doesn't. They're all, he makes Bud a badass. He makes Oren a badass. I mean, it's all of them are kind of.
Okay, let's skip ahead a little bit for the,
Yes.
for the benefit of
There's this song that
music.
it was a commercial. It ruined that song. The song was good up until that.
Until a commercial.
Yeah.
That's typically how it goes.
She goes on a killing spree here, boy.
This is such a great scene. Oh, cuts her arm
Sophie
off.
arm off.
It's reminiscent of the final confrontation in Django and Jane. Blood spraying everywhere.
Everybody just runs.
And a lot of the marketing material, they even had to change the color of the blood on her,
This
which is crazy.
This is so kung fu movie stuff here. It's not even funny. The Shaolin monk stuff. This is just screamed. That's kind of
Yeah, y'all better put a tourniquet on that woman
like get the hell out of here.
if you want her to survive.
I like how there's no music during
Yeah.
this. It's just the music and stuff is the
sound
blades,
effects.
the sound effects and all that stuff.
Grunting and the music will come more
Yeah.
shortly.
Until everybody else comes,
shows
but
up.
when she's one-on-one with these
Yeah.
people, it's just nice to hear these sound effects.
Yeah.
And there's a rhythm to it,
it
too.
emphasizes it too.
Kind of her inner circle.
I mean, it's not just random flailing around. I feel like there's an actual rhythm and reason and rhyme to just everything. It has a beat.
Oh yeah. I especially love the fight with Go-Go. Everybody's gonna scream. Yeah. Shh. Silence.
Yeah.
But yet she's still.
We gotta
Yeah, man, we got watch this stuff forever. And such good deaths. I mean, they're just
it's
amazing.
so bloody and so graphic and gory, but at the same time, you do get the feeling you're looking at a heightened reality. It's not very realistic at the same time, and I think to me that helps.
Go playing the innocent little schoolgirl with her outfit. Hi.
It's very much an
and a
anime
little
type
giggle.
character.
And, yeah. And then she just turns dark. She's like, yeah. With a cool weapon to boot. Which I think is what those the bride off some is this unique weapon that she's using that
She's probably never faced off against something like this.
if it was all swords and stuff, and then it turns into the
like
freaking
saw, that's pretty awesome.
then it turns into the freaking ball from Phantasm with a chain attached to it.
Yeah.
Until we kill her with a freaking table leg. And it's been quiet.
Yeah.
They don't know.
Yeah.
You think
crash
the
of the
battle's over? The
table.
battle's just getting started. That's maybe like the first third of the battle. Then we got the crazy 88.
And I love the bride's reaction to all them coming in. Just the
Yeah, I gotta do it again.
not that I don't think she finds it like gonna be difficult. It's just another hill to climb.
It wasn't be that easy, did you? You know, for a second there.
I did.
Yeah, I kind of did. Silly man.
Feet.
Tricks are for kids.
Tricked. Be a tricked.
Then I can't even fathom how to even choreograph a fight with these many
Oh
people.
my lord! I don't know who did that,
What
but
a
it's
bitch this would be just to edit.
and the funny part is they're scared. She raises back and they all back up.
Yeah.
He's supposed to look like a legit badass. Whoever played Johnny May. Chai Hu Lu. Chia Hui Louie. Huey Louie. Huey Lewis in the news. I'm pretty sure he kicked his ass too.
I remember.
that's
I remember
so
the trailer
pretty.
for this movie. That's kind of how it ends. She's surrounded by it, and it's
Yeah.
like Uma Thurman will kill Bill.
This is just beautiful.
Yeah.
And builds and builds and builds.
Just blood everywhere. Oh, she takes
There
his
goes the
eye.
eye. And
What
that's
a
where it goes to
perfect-
black and white.
What a perfect
Yeah.
place to do it, you know? So I think we touched on this a little bit earlier. They switched to black and white here, I think mainly for the MPAA and censorship. Again, this is a good example of Tarantino being flexible, but also not necessarily wavering in his creative vision. Like, he didn't cut the scene. They wanted to cut it all out. He's like, what's the real problem here? Like, the blood. I'm like the color of the blood. I'm like, yeah, okay, we can do something about that, but I'm not changing the film. And the cool thing about it is, when you look back at how the rest of this film is pretty much an homage, the black and white cutting from color to black and white back to color, it's very much in keeping with the homage of the kung fu films.
Oh, it was black and white as an homage to the 70s and 80s U.S. TV airings of kung fu movies. They would go to black and white to cover up all the blood.
A little bit more source music in here.
It says in the Japanese version there's not any black and white in it.
And this is one I don't like the music choice. The one and only time I don't.
Yeah,
I don't know what it is about it, but I don't like.
it doesn't exactly fit.
I mean, I get that sometimes, I know in Reservoir Dogs they use that one song during the torture scene that doesn't really fit, but that's supposed to be a conflicting type thing. But and this right here, this is when it goes to like one of my favorite shots when they lights the blue backlight and all this.
Yes.
It's like one of the most sexiest things I've ever seen.
That's black. Nobody can see nothing, so it's.
I love when she spanks the guy with the sword.
Oh, the kid.
Yeah.
Go home, see your mama.
She's still being a mom. I mean, she's still.
Well, she's got to leave us some survivors to spread the word too. That don't mess with me.
Didn't your mama teach you not to play with the Yakuza?
Now this is straight out of a damn comic book to me. You know what I mean? This is like Frank Miller's Wolverine, something like that.
Oh, it's
you know
a very
what I mean?
Wolverine. Yeah. Very Wolverine. There's the kid.
These shots are just look like panels.
Shaking like crazy. Cut this sword off.
I just love the look on his face.
Yeah, just drop it. Fucking around with the cute
That's
kids.
so great. She spanks him. Alright, we gotta skip ahead to this fight here.
Beautifully shot.
Oh
with the
my God.
In the snow.
This is so pretty. Why can't we all make movies like this?
Alright.
Oh my God, this is so gorgeous. With some, I assume, some green screen behind it or something with all the. I don't know if you could do that color sky. And that white, the white on white, then her yellow stands out so much.
Yeah.
And they always say that's, snow shows blood really well. So I think that's part of the reason. And then we go to quiet.
Yeah. With the fountain. I like that.
Ikuyo.
Ready?
Set, go.
Come on.
Good translation there. You sounded just like Lucy.
I know. All those years of Spanish in high school.
It's Japanese. Okay. This is I like this. But it's kind of weird that she has fought all these people, and it's even the Vernita Green fight lasted a pretty good while, and this seems just kind of anticlimactic that she finishes her off so quick.
Well, quick, but it's been like 10 minutes of them just the two of them fighting.
Yeah, but they really didn't do that much fighting.
But she just fought 88 people before her. You gotta give her that,
She was tuned up where Lucy Liu wasn't.
Yeah.
I think at the beginning of the fight, Lucy Liu's character was kind of like downplaying her skills as a white American girl type thing. So I think she underestimated the bride.
Yeah, that's kind of bad.
This is where we first see or hear. No, not where we first see, but first hear him. But we
Bill.
Yeah, it's
We
where
hear
you
him
get
at the
first
very beginning.
taste of Bill. Real,
Yeah.
you see him.
It's still alive.
And then
Kind of
he
leaves you with a
drops
little
the
bit of a
mic.
Cliffhanger.
which it's only a year in between films where they give you part 2 or volume 2.
was it a year? Is that how long I had to wait?
03
I think so.
and 04.
I had to wait. I had to wait 2 years because my
Yeah.
daughter wouldn't let me watch it until it was all done. I was like, "Ah,
Remember,
you're
I
killing
saw
me, boo."
03 with one girlfriend and 04 and girlfriend. That's kind of weird.
Did the second girlfriend see the first volume 1?
I don't even know. I married the second one, so
Yay!
that's the only one that matters.
Ta-da!
I don't know.
Now, okay. We've established I like the first one better than I
Mm-hmm.
do the second one. Maybe because I'm more adept at the samurai kung fu movie stuff. One of my top 20 favorite movies of all time is a kung fu movie where they have this. It's called The Flying Guillotine. They have this flat disc, and they throw it with a chain on it, kind of like
Oh, yeah.
Go-Go's, and it fits over the head. And when it does, this shroud comes down, and then they pull it, and the blades come out and just
God.
cut their head off, and they just jerk the head off. One of my all-time favorite movies, period. But I do like the Pai Mei training montages
Yes.
in this, or the training stuff. I don't know. I like the music in this, but
Robert Rodriguez
yeah.
does the score for volume 2.
Oh really?
The RZA did the score for the first one.
Nice against the
But it's probably mostly source music, like the first one in this too, though.
Well, the RZA, I mean, he's into all the anime Japanese stuff. I mean, didn't he do a movie, like, there was a
But it wasn't from lack of
movie
Yeah.
he was in or something that was very Japanese-like, I forget. I don't know.
Well, I'm with you, Sammy. I do like Volume 1 over Volume 2, but there's a lot to like in
Oh
Volume
my
2
God,
as
yes.
well. And they're totally wise. They're just two different films. They even are presented differently from the get-go.
Now I'm not real sure why this starts off black and white.
I think it's literally just trying to show you a different style
Yeah.
from the very... I mean, that's my take. Speaking of Uma Thurman driving,
Overacting Uma Thurman.
we're going to get to that. It's pretty important. In 2018 especially, pretty important to throw out there.
Uma Thurman overacting or driving?
Driving.
Oh.
In Kill Bill Volume 2.
I guess maybe I'm missing something.
All right. Just in case you didn't know. A film by Quinten Tarantino.
Yeah. Now we finally show what brought all this on.
Now, the incident that happened at the Two Pines wedding chapel that put this whole gory story into motion.
So we've watched an entire movie without.
So, like, and obviously it's a different, like, the first one starts off with the bloody bride, and this one, obviously the whole thing is a little more slower,
Yeah.
but, I love that.
It does feel like this film takes a little bit more of a chance to breathe
Yeah.
than the first one does. You know what I mean?
And if done right, and it does, to me, do it right,
How does she
I love
hook
that.
up with this loser ass dude though?
You guys heard the theory about the Samuel L. Jackson character, Rufus? The one of the most prevailing fan theories that he is Jules from Pulp Fiction, because Jules tells what's his name, John Travolta's character, that his plan is to basically just be homeless, just to walk the earth and wander, be a wanderer. And Rufus says some similar things in this, and so this is one of the most prevailing fan theories, is that Rufus is actually
Well, I
Jules
mean, if
from
the
Pulp Fiction.
if the timing lines up like you've seen, like we talked
Yeah.
about earlier, then maybe.
So the bride has stepped out of the little chapel at Two Pines? Is that
Yep,
what they
Two
said?
Pines
in
wedding
Texas, and of course Bill's sitting on the porch there playing his flute, We finally get a look at David Carradine as Bill.
A moment ago, I was playing my flute.
Okay. I knew he was in the movie, but I grew up watching Kung Fu on TV.
Yeah.
So it seemed almost appropriate, but you still went. It's like, oh, there's the guy from. I still tell, like Morgan or some of them, I'll say something and I'll go, "Oh, you learn well, Grasshopper." I still use that line.
A lot of people use Grasshopper and have no clue where it came from.
Here, right here, guilty. Feet.
That's the TV show.
Well,
That's
there's Kung Fu the movie and the TV show. Since we're talking about Dave Carradine as Bill, I want to take a minute and acknowledge the alternate casting. The most Bill was written for Warren Beatty, and he very seriously considered playing Bill. And his version of Bill, or Tarantino's version, that version of Bill for Tarantino was going to be much more of a James Bond like character. More suave, more tuxedo type Bill. But since he passed on it, came a little bit more, Eastern.
For the best, I would have to say.
Honestly, I agree. I like the idea of Warren Beatty doing something like this. I'm glad he didn't do this.
Yeah, I can't see it. I don't like.
He owns a used record store here now.
And don't forget, we're getting a couple of shots of Uma's feet again on the front porch. They keep cutting back between their feet and their face.
I hate feet.
Now, I've always heard this Warren Beatty thing, but Samuel L. Jackson was also offered the role of Bill and turned it down for the smaller role. A couple other rumors I have also read were that Kurt Russell, Mickey Rourke,
Burt Reynolds.
Yeah, I like it a lot.
I've heard a couple other ones. I don't know how substantiated they are, like Jack Nicholson. But
Talk about music all day. It's really cool.
all right, I'm gonna skip ahead a little bit. Just
It's gonna be a great
I need to plug in my computer. We've been at it for too long.
Uh-oh.
Where's the nearest outlet?
Right
There's
there.
one right here.
Right there. Are you still recording?
We'll mind the bottles.
Gotcha. Yeah.
Joe and his beer bottles.
To each his own. However, all cockblocker aside, I am
Cotton blockery.
You're in.
All right.
We're good.
We're
still rolling.
Push ahead a little bit more. So we're seeing the wedding here pre-massacre, and we've already seen post-massacre in the first film. So now we've cut to.
I'm a bouncer in a titty bar, Bill.
I'm not sure what in the chronology of this next scene is, but I'm assuming it's towards the end where Bill is warning Bud,
I mean,
his
it's
brother.
got to be after she warns the lawyer lady from Oren.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I guess he's going
And
around.
Oren was the first
So
one.
do we ever
Yeah.
see the list again? So Oren was first, Bernita was second.
I didn't get a chance to watch it before. They're still bleeping her name.
She's coming to kill you.
All right, who's left? L.
And unless you
I think
And
Bud was
Bud.
third, and then
I think so too.
Daryl Hannah fourth.
Then L drive. That's a skeevy guy too.
I wish we had
And there was
more
a
time.
nice Sid Haig cameo
Yeah.
at the bar.
Wish we had more time to
Yeah.
mess around
Oh
with this.
God!
Oh, and this is the worst.
The fight scene in the trailer though is one of the penultimate fight scenes of all time.
Okay, so now the bride is outside of Bud's trailer, and we haven't really talked much about Bud yet, but he's played by Michael Madsen, and I believe it's Bill's brother or half brother or something. He's one of the members of the squad, the assassin Vipers.
The one guy.
Yeah. And it looks like she's got the drop on him. She's got a little mask, and she's right up next to the door. He's... But...
Nope. Bud's ready with a shotgun. With butt shot in it.
And I remember thinking, this movie's over. but he's got like salt, rock salt packed
Rock salt.
in there.
Stings like hell.
and you really get a sense of what of a sadistic asshole he is, and he enjoyed that. Mm-hmm. He's going to enjoy what he does to her next.
It differentiates himself from everybody else in the gang.
Drug you down some, didn't it?
Tarantino said if Bruce Lee was still alive, he'd been asked to be in this movie. Fucking duh.
Of course.
Yeah. Ain't nobody a badass with a double dose of rock salt that deep in their tits.
So yeah, Tarantino's worked with Madsen several times. Reservoir Dogs, like he said earlier, that famous scene where he tortures the cop. Inglourious Bastards. No, not Inglourious Bastards. Hateful Eight.
Yeah.
He's one of the 8 in Hateful Eight.
Does he do anything outside of Tarantino?
Yeah. I think he's been in some Michael Mann movies, I think. I from what I've heard, he's one of those notorious actors that's difficult to get along with.
Gotcha.
Yeah, I've heard that story too.
And if there's any real deep dive Tarantino fans listening,
Oh shit! What?
it's always been rumored, and Tarantino has publicly said numerous times that his character in Reservoir Dogs is the brother of John Travolta's character in Pulp Fiction, and they're the Vega brothers. And for the longest time, they're planning on making a crossover film called The Vega Brothers that just never came to fruition.
Madsen's in 14 movies this year.
Wow.
Good for him.
He's paying that mortgage.
Probably,
Good for you.
I mean, it's nothing anybody ever heard of. But
Yeah.
he's in The Witching Hour.
He's been in a lot of stinkers, I'm sure.
I'm sure it's the wrong Witching Hour.
Hell, he's probably in Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. I think he was in that, wasn't he?
He is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. And so now Bud has his sick plan.
Yeah, it's sick, and this is one of my worst nightmares ever.
Oh my God!
I know,
Yes.
right?
Um,
And this is done so well, too.
yeah. Like anything being buried alive, like claustrophobic stuff. Like you ever see that movie, like the cave diving, Descent?
Oh, God. Yeah.
That's if I'm not a horror movie person, but that's the worst horror movie I've ever seen in my life.
Madsen was in a movie called Piranhaconda. Do anything for $1.
This is hard. Okay. So Bud has buried her alive in a wooden box, a coffin underground, and I don't know if this is a
love this.
flashback, but it seems like maybe she's taking time to reflect, trying to dig deep down and find what she needs to.
Well, this all leads up to the 1-inch punch.
Yes. Yes.
For her to get out of the. For her to get
because
out of
the question is, as
coffin.
an audience, you're going, how the hell is she going to get out of this one?
Yeah.
And that's the only way you could. I mean, I guess. I one day endeavor to have eyebrows that glorious and magnificent.
Pame is a character from some of the original, some of the kung fu movies. From it's a character he's borrowed from somebody else.
Yeah.
Like the name Paimei.
Yeah, with this character, the beard and the eyebrows and the hair and everything.
Well, Tarantino has no qualms about borrowing and I don't want to say remaking. I guess remaking is the word.
Retooling.
I mean, if you look at Inglourious Basterds, that's a remake. Hateful Eight's a remake. Django was done. There's like 3 or 4 Django films from the 70s. You know.
Mm-hmm. But he takes stuff that nobody knows about
Exactly.
and redoes it.
He makes it. He repackages it for a mainstream U.S. audience, and puts his own spin on it, and makes it its own thing.
I mean, even as me with my limited knowledge of this stuff, I can tell what the cliche stuff is.
You don't have to know the source material to know that he's referencing.
But then he
something.
takes it to the next level.
Yes.
And makes it his own and makes it interesting.
He's got that spin he puts on it on top of what you're seeing, and keep seeing this GIF for some reason. I don't know why. It's been funny. I've seen it like 3 times today on Facebook. Oh, the Carolina Theater was playing this movie today. Both of them back to back.
Yep.
That's why. I can't remember why I was seeing it. Alright, I'm going to skip ahead a little bit here for time. Okay, now we're back to her in the coffin.
And back to me dry heaving.
Well, and like we said, this movie moves a little bit slower, and we're an hour into the film, and I think we probably spent about 20 or 30 minutes of her in the box. That's a lot. Yeah, I mean, we cut back and forth to other things, but still, I just love that. You know, I don't know. It seems a little ballsy for a filmmaker to just take that kind of time.
It works though.
It does. It does.
I love it.
And it's not. But you're not tired of it. You're not bored by it.
Which is, I mean, yeah, because it just jumps to different things. And every moment is important. I don't think there's any real filler, like unnecessary filler stuff in this.
Yeah.
He is not credited at all. I think his name's Gordon Liu.
She's doing the smallest punches ever. They're drawing blood and they're making cracks in the wood slowly but surely. I wonder realistically how much air do you have in this situation? Like how long do you got before you're just
I've always heard 8 hours.
8 hours?
Oh, really?
But the problem is, like, once she breaks that open,
Yes, she's fucked.
because the dirt will now suffocate you. You're not going to have all that room she has right there, but it's cool nonetheless, and I'll let it slide
Yes.
this time.
These shots are neat.
And after this, the shots where she vaults into the diner give you a little bit of levity to this.
Mm-hmm.
There has to be a little levity in certain
Of
spots
course,
for
yeah.
these two movies to.
Yes.
Or else they're just dark.
A bit of suspension of disbelief. for
Yes.
both these films. All right, I'm gonna skip ahead here a little bit.
She vaults into the diner and she's like, "Can I have some drink?"
Let's skip it.
I just want to say right here, I want whatever he's making.
Uh-huh.
It's absolutely disgusting in his trailer and his using his hands and doing everything here. But for some reason, I always want to drink this drink. It looks absolutely refreshing and delicious.
Yeah.
And just one of those things that in a movie and making it and just doing
I thought he was
it.
making margaritas.
We should
Did
have.
he make margaritas?
I don't know.
Some sort of margarita?
Like, I'm absolutely turned off right now. But once he, like, pours it into the cup, I'm like, you know what? I'll take a sip.
We should have.
What's that you said?
So this is a Hattori Hanzo sword.
That's a Hanzo sword, all right.
It tells me you once had one of these.
The funny thing about the Hanzo sword is no one really outside of their circle gives a shit or knows the significance of it or how rare it is.
It's just nasty.
I want it, though.
Pretty sure it's some sort of margarita.
Yeah.
You compare it to every other sword.
Let's skip that a little bit. There's a big payoff.
Now he's the only one that she doesn't kill, right?
So he's been betrayed by Daryl Hannah's character. Was Ellie Driver,
In Africa.
and she put a like a mamba,
Black Mama.
black mamba in the.
And isn't that the bride's name? So in name,
No,
Yeah.
I thought Black
he
Mama-
does get killed by a black
I
mamba
thought Black Mama was Vernita Green's.
because she was complaining that why is she called Black Mamba?
That's right. They were arguing back and forth. I should have been a black mamba.
Yeah.
Now, you go smoke some pot or something.
Go smoke some pot or something. This fight is just awesome.
That might be the best shot of feet in the film.
The fact that you can't get the sword open because the trailer's so small. She's fighting with a freaking antenna on a TV,
That's pretty great.
which is actually a pretty good weapon if you need one in a.
Now, I don't know if you guys have ever heard this, but apparently there is so much bad blood in real life between Daryl Hannah and Uma Thurman that between takes, even on promotions and press tours, they refuse to be around each other.
Really?
Not just they wouldn't talk. Like, they had 2 different hotel rooms in 2 different hotels
Wow.
because they would not do press junkets together, and they wouldn't do...
I wonder who the bad guy in that scenario is.
It's a good question. I don't know. So apparently that I'm wondering if some of these fights got uglier in the filming than. But it's a great fight though.
Oh my god, this fight is so good.
Apparently they even won an MTV Movie Award for this fight, and Uma wouldn't show up because of it. Up there.
I mean, it's so. The fight is so violent, the snake don't even want anything to do with it.
Yeah, Snake's like, I'm going over here.
That's kind of hokey. But her grabbing her and throwing her through the wall was pretty cool.
Yeah. God, this looks so exhausting.
God, yes. That's a good shot.
You really have to be like superhuman to fight anything more than like several minutes at this rate.
And frenetic and hard.
Just I'm not even talking about the injuries. Just being gassed and and blowing out. This would be.
I wonder how difficult this was to shoot.
Oh my god.
It's kind of a weird shot.
To my brother Bud, the only man I ever loved.
And had it in a freaking golf bag. So funny.
What's that?
Mwah, mwah. Butts.
Dan's sword. He said he pawned it. Guess that makes him a liar now, don't it?
So cheesy.
L. B. Something I've always been curious about. Just between us girls. What did you say to Pai Mei to make him snatch out your eye? I called him a miserable old fool. Bad idea. Know what I did? I killed that miserable old fool.
Uh-oh.
How do you like the fish head? Miserable old fool. I poisoned his fish heads.
I think her doing that has made her my most hated Viper person.
Oh yeah, ain't no doubt. And I think her set up. She's meant to be the most hated one.
The word of an old fool like you is worth less than nothing.
And she might be the one that has the least amount of honor. Well, she probably is the one with the least amount of honor. Okay, have we progressively? That's a thought. Have we progressively gotten instead of changing the order for movie making reasons? Was Vernita the one with the most honor, and then Oren Ishii was next, and then Bud's next, and then L's the
No,
one
that-
with the least amount of honor?
That's a nice
I
observation.
like that. Yeah, that makes sense.
That just
Well, you gotta
just
say
hit
Bill
me.
for last.
yeah,
Obviously.
yeah.
That's just seems.
who has the absolute least amount of honor because he stole her kid.
Put
So-
a bullet in her head.
Yep. So it's just progressively gotten worse.
This is very much like a western here. The stare down,
Oh
back
God,
and forth.
yeah.
Just not with the.
This kind of ends pretty abruptly too. They build up to all this stuff. It just kind of
Yeah.
ends abruptly.
That's the way to do it, in my opinion. Don't drag it out if you don't need to.
They have almost identical eyes,
Oof.
too.
Oh,
Not anymore.
Well, they still do. It's just in her hand.
Yeah.
I love how they set this up in the first film too, because they show her snatch out an eye in the first film.
Yeah.
And so when she does it again, it really matters the second time. You buy
Well,
it.
also
Yeah.
the fact that Pai Mei did it the first time.
Yes.
And then she killed Pai Mei. This is pretty gross.
And
Very.
you probably think, like, Pai Mei taught her the whole eye
Yeah.
thing in the first place, too.
So the snake won't even bite her. I guess she technically doesn't kill her.
No.
You figure she just finally wanders into the snake,
Yeah.
or does the snake roll out the door?
Well, she's so handicapped now that she doesn't need to.
Yeah. Then she goes back to the woman walk. Hurting.
She's got to be sore.
And this is a really good scene with him. He's the one who played the sheriff. He's the same actor guy.
Some good acting too.
Oh, yeah.
It's originally cast as Ricardo Montalban,
Oh,
who would have been good, but for whatever reason couldn't make it to the table read. So Michael Parks set in for him, and they liked him so much they recast him as two parts in the same movie.
I don't know that I knew that.
I didn't either. I had to find that out. Esteban.
This scene is just, I mean, I know it just is there just to guide Beatrix to Bill, but this character, I don't know why. I like this
He's
character.
interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's the most interesting man in the world.
Yeah, that,
He kind of looks like him too, doesn't he?
I don't always drink beer.
I wonder if that character was based on this guy.
I could see
That'd
that.
be kind of funny.
I could see that. So as we are in the second half of the second volume, I briefly want to discuss. We had talked a little bit about earlier. Quentin Tarantino has talked publicly about two potential spin-off films, which would be like maybe a volume 3 of some type involving Vivica A. Fox's daughter seeking revenge years later when she grows up. I think he started talking about that way back then.
yeah.
But there's also another idea about an anime version of a Diva's backstory film. Which might be cool, might not. I don't know. I'm thinking 20 years later.
The girl,
I don't know.
the girl that played her daughter needs some work. She hasn't worked since 2012.
I'm sure they wouldn't cast her. Now, I don't know that another thing we really need to talk about, because it is very timely, and I don't know if we've missed it yet or not, because we just got a shot here of the car, is I think we did miss
Yeah,
it.
it
It's
might
before
be.
this.
There
Yeah.
it is.
Okay, Sammy. This is pretty important for 2018 and the Me Too movement, these shots of her driving this car.
Okay.
She wrecked the hell out of the car driving this movie.
Okay.
Uma did. There wasn't a stunt driver, it was her.
Uh huh.
She wanted a stunt driver. They didn't want to hire a stunt driver. Oh, by the way, Zoe Bell, who's most famous for being in Death Proof, holding on to the front of the Charger, is her stunt double. So Harvey Weinstein refused to get a stunt driver because apparently for whatever reason that day they didn't have it and they didn't want to pay for it, and so Quentin Tarantino just persuaded her to do the driving herself. She didn't want to do it, but
Okay.
he asked her to. She wrecks the shit out of the car, gets a concussion, damages her knees pretty badly, or somewhat badly. She can still do the film. Let's see. Harvey Weinstein refuses to give her the footage unless she signs a contract releasing Miramax from any liability whatsoever. And this is the kind of stuff he would do, you know. She's also alleged that early on in her career, we're talking like pre-Pulp Fiction days or around that time, he also raped her a couple times as well.
Okay.
But this is on camera. This is, you know, stuff you can prove, and then there's a paper trail about this cover up and stuff. So now she has I think there's an actual lawsuit against him now from her and her attorneys against Harvey Weinstein for what happened in this film. Even though she signed the liability waiver, I think the argument is under the circumstances, you know, in his sexual harassment power dominant role over her, that kind of makes that waiver null and void. And so now I think she's suing him. So earlier this year, Quentin Tarantino, to try to mend that bridge with her, gave her the footage that she needed to sue him.
Okay.
In the height of the Me Too movement. So she is a pretty significant chapter in this
Gotcha.
this movement, and it's
I kind of knew that, but I didn't know the story behind it.
well, a great bit of it has to do with Volume 2.
Gotcha.
Okay, so let's move on to her, or to Bill interacting with their daughter, making a peanut butter and jelly.
It's just heartwarming family time.
Yeah.
Except for the fact he's like 3 times her age, and that's creepy as shit.
It happens.
What happened to Leo?
If you want to talk about creepy, we can talk about how David Carradine
Yeah.
died. I probably shouldn't touch that. It's not very nice, but
Came running into my room.
wasn't great. You can Google it, folks.
Super sharp knife, cutting the edge.
I know, right? You know, she's sitting there on edge going, oh, God, he's got a knife in his hand.
Like a super sharp knife. Which you figure every knife he has is super sharp.
And you got to wonder, is he the kind of guy that would kill her in front of the child? He probably is. He probably doesn't care.
Just how
I think if she attacked first, he would.
Yes.
Emilio's fishbowl. And she said, no. Emilio was on the carpet when I stepped on it.
Again, going back to what you said earlier, very domestic scene that's getting ready to turn violent.
Yeah.
And I'm sorry to our listening audience. We're just for time wise, we're like a little bit over our time. But that's fine. We're going to skip through a good bit of this here in the.
You mean my favorite parts?
Sorry.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
They're just sitting around talking, Joey.
Yeah. I do want to focus a little bit more on the
Well,
was it the
it
5?
just so happens. This
What is it called? The 5 move death punch.
just so happens.
That sounds like a band or something.
It does.
5 Finger Death Punch is the name of the
Five-Finger.
band.
So happens.
It's something.
The 5-point exploding heart trick.
Yeah, that's
That's right.
Something like that.
Yes.
But one of the bolts
Which is
they discuss
really
it
weird.
earlier in the film that Pai Mei taught it to her and refused to teach it to anybody else, and they never could understand why she was so special for him to teach it to her.
now. You don't settle down. I'm gonna have
Kind of looks like Han Solo there, doesn't he?
Here goes. Very painful place to be shot. I'm just fucking with you. Now, when it
All
comes
his daughters in the next room.
to us,
Yeah. She's probably heard this kind of stuff
I have
before.
a few unanswered questions. So, before this tale of bloody revenge reaches its climax, I'm gonna ask you some
Robert
questions.
Rodriguez scored this movie for $1.
Truth.
Yes, and in return, Tarantino guest directed on Sin City.
Because when it comes
He did
to
the scene
to me,
where Clive Owen's driving the car and Benicio del Toro's in the front seat, and they're having a conversation back and forth with a dead body.
when it comes to the subject of me, I am truly and utterly incapable of believing anything you say.
That's one of those films that blew me away when I saw it like 10. Oh Lord.
It just so happens
13 years ago, whatever it was, Sin City.
Based on a comic book.
Hasn't held up for me, and the sequel really didn't hold up for me. But anyways,
I haven't made it to the sequel yet.
yeah, I saw it in theaters once and walked out laughing. I felt bad because I loved the first one so much.
What lies within that dart, just beginning to course its way through your veins, is an incredibly potent and quite infallible truth serum.
I was really hoping we'd have more Grindhouse movies.
Twice as strong as sodium
I really thought the first one would be a first in a series, but it's
Well, I mean, that was kind of a box office flop.
it's kind of hard to market a 4-hour
They've become
movie.
almost cult films, which is weird.
Well, they
out of a
become known as
grindhouse.
their individual films more than the original.
Well, Death
Release.
Proof's considerably better than
That's true.
than the other one too. So
I need to rewatch all these movies.
I like Death Proof's really good. And North Carolina Girl and Mary Elizabeth Winstead is from Wilmington.
Now, I know you're skipping ahead, and
Yeah,
that's perfectly
sorry.
fine. But the whole Superman speech at the time blew my mind
Yeah.
when he first said it. I'm like, whoa,
Can
he's
you paraphrase
right.
it for the audience?
Yeah, so basically he was saying how you have like Spider-Man and Batman, and they wake up as Peter Parker, Bruce Wayne, and then they go into their alter ego as Spider-Man, Batman. But with Superman, he wakes up as Superman, and his alter ego is who's Clark Kent, which is his way of seeing humans as this weak type of being thing.
You ain't kidding.
It was inspired by the great comic book heroes, which was a real book. Hands up. Such
was
a
musical
such a
cue.
freaking Shogun
Yeah.
kind of karate movie gimmick here.
Plan A taught you the 5-point palm exploding.
Palm. I forgot the palm.
5-point palm exploding heart technique.
Of course he did.
Which sounds like it's completely fucking made up. Because it is.
Why didn't you tell me?
Do you know
Wanna
that for a
use on you
fact?
someday.
Do we need to do a little demonstration here?
Let's go back and rewind.
Do we have it? Anybody got it? Can you hit all the pressure points? Is there a pressure point around your heart? I don't know.
Well, you got a rib cage around it, so you can't just touch it. And
You're not a bad person. You're a terrific person. You're my favorite person.
And after all this, she still cries for him.
In a while, it can be a real cunt.
Moment of levity. And then a shot of her feet.
I'm sorry. I wish I could take it back, but you know.
You're okay. If you only take 4 steps, you're all right. So we'll just carry you around everywhere.
Like shit.
And after all this, she really does love him, which is kind of sad.
It is sad. It's super emotional.
Gonna die. Let me show you my toes. Sorry, Joe. I'm impeding on your dramatic moment.
I am kind of surprised she didn't throw her foot in there somewhere for the one of the 5.
Yeah.
4, 5.
The 5-toed exploding.
5 toes. That sounds weird.
Not if it's a sloth.
And he's down for the count.
Told you should stop at 4 steps.
So what do you just stand there forever like,
Like a flamingo with like
Yeah.
one leg in the air.
So what do you guys think? Do you think we'll see the bride again at some point in a film? Or who we now know as Beatrix Kiddo?
I don't know. I guess it depends on how much heat's between her and Tarantino.
I think they've mended that.
I think
Or
we
could
will,
you-
but maybe in a different incarnation.
Or could you do not that, but her daughter versus
that's
Vernita's
what I was
daughter?
thinking too.
Okay.
That would be a. But the question is, how would you do it and make it progressively interesting? It can't
That's
just
true.
be
Yeah.
can't just be them two kind of stalking each other and.
You have to do something like this where he takes a genre, whether I don't want it to be Western or Kung Fu or something else, a different type of genre. And
What they could do? I mean,
mean-
it'd have to be something close where it kind of transitioned.
like whenever he gets to it, I mean, do like a sci-fi or something in space. Take him to space. That eventually happens. at
Divas
some
in
point.
space. There is a show coming out. I don't know what channel it's going to be on. Called Deadly Class. That is based on a comic book. It has this same really kung fu samurai vibe to it. But what it is they have kids they're pulling off the street who have been abandoned or something like that, and they train them to be assassins. And there's a lot of sword play and that kind of stuff in it. There was two books that come out almost at the exact same time. Deadly Class and Morning Glories. But Deadly Class is based in the 80s. So that's, I don't know, Freeform or one of those, could be Sci-Fi, has developed it. So I'll be curious. But it's got this very similar vibe to it.
So the film ends with Beatrice with her daughter, and I think it's kind of funny because the Uma Thurman's real life pregnancy delayed production on this film by like a good year. This probably should have been more like a 2002, 2003 release, but she's kind of integral to the to the making of the film. And as you might see here in a little bit, she is actually credited as creating the character of the bride. So apparently that's something that started back during production of Pulp Fiction, of the two of them, of Quentin Tarantino and Uma Thurman, discussing a potential future project, and they came up with this idea of the bride, and then he later then built the story of Kill Bill around that.
So I guess whenever I see in the credits it says based on the bride, the character Bride by Quentin Tarantino. She's not in any other form of media. It's just a character they developed in their mind and then transferred to a movie.
It sounds like it's something they came up with together in conversation, and then he went home and wrote a huge script. A little bit of trivia here for you.
He plays Pai Mei too. Pai Mei's actually based on a character called Pac Mei, which was a real person who had
Pac-Man?
Pac Mei.
Oh.
Yeah, like a really round head.
Yeah,
big mouth.
yeah. Bo Svensson. I forgot about that cameo.
Who's he?
I
know.
he played the lead character in the original Walking Tall movies. Or no, the second and third one. They changed that character. They changed the actor who played that character at some point. I don't know. But he was in one of the Walking Talls.
Just a little bit of trivia. The at least in the first film, I'm not sure, maybe it's for both, but they used 450 gallons of blood. That's pretty cool. The one of the Tarantino's trademark things is to use a fictional brand of cigarettes called Red Apple cigarettes, and they appear in almost every film he's done.
This one appeared in the airport in Japan, I believe.
Well, I think that's going to wrap up our discussion on Kill Bills Volume 1 and 2.
I'm so glad we did this. I'm so glad you picked this, Joey. I
Well,
love these movies.
you're welcome.
So, Joey, where can our listeners find more of you and your insights into film and filmmaking?
I'm really active on Instagram,
Very cool.
so I do most of
What's your handle?
I think it's like Prospect with a K,
Yes.
so PRSPEKT, and that usually filters over to Facebook. And I'm Joey Martin. That's my full name if you really need to know. And I Facebook pages, The Haunting of 4 Points, film they released earlier in the year, comedy, horror. Check it out. Visit the page, and then I've got more stuff in terms of music and short films with Child of the Ivy, a new life art project I'm doing. So check out those stuff. I'd appreciate that.
Very cool. Looking forward to that.
And I appreciate you having me on.
Yeah, man. Thanks for coming.
Podcast.
I think we've been talking about having you as a guest
Yeah.
for like 2 years.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've been
Finally worked out,
in
so.
front of a calendar every day, just marking off. Not today. I haven't been asked today.
I'm waiting to hear from
today.
Sammy. Waiting to hear from Sammy.
That's
Waiting to hear from. I only put him in my movie, and he's put me on the podcast yet.
What about you, Sammy?
I can be found in a snowy garden with half my head chopped off, exposing my brain or what little is left of it. Other than that, you can find me on all the social media at Sammy Castle. Check out Sammy the Comic Book Man Facebook page. Check out Silent Breath Facebook page. Check out Backwoods Bubba Facebook page and Kickstarter. Horror News Radio, our friends over there. Horror Movie Freaks, our friends over there. Am I forgetting anybody? Oh, the
Yes,
original
probably.
Hollywood Horror Show.
I guarantee you're forgetting something.
You can if this comes out the Friday, I think it's going to come out. You can find me this weekend at Greensboro Comic Con. I will hopefully be in costume as something, I don't know what. And next weekend, and I'll be handing out flyers for next weekend, which is the 4th annual Wreak Havoc Film Buzz podcast. The 4th annual Wreak Havoc Horror Film Festival. Shit.
You're currently listening to the Wreak Havoc
Yes.
Film Buzz podcast.
Something like
as
that.
we tell you about the Wreak Havoc Horror Film Festival.
Hey, and if you like to gamble, come to Click and Play.
All right, I'm on Instagram at Wreak Havoc Productions, and I'm on Twitter at Hank vs. the Undead. You can always email me at wreakhavocproductions@gmail.com. And check out everything we're up to at our website, wreakhavocproductions.com.
See, I said that better. Even
Yeah,
though I
you
didn't
did.
say it correctly.
So we'll be back in 2 weeks with a special episode about the 4th Annual Film Festival and some highlights from that. So be sure to tune in then. And
I'm looking down at our group message, and all it says is, Jeffrey, I don't like bitch and popcorn.
let's we'll probably need to cut that out of that.
Oh, okay. You think you're going to listen?
No,
Okay.
not at all. I'm Dan. I'm Dan, a.k.a. the co-host, a.k.a. Dan the Man.
And I am,
AKA.
as my wife giggles from the other room, I am Sammy, a.k.a. the Comic Book Man,
the-
a.k.a. the Eastern
silver-
Sidewinding Silverback Diamond diamond rattlesnake or something, water moccasin or something like that. We're getting silly. It's getting late.
It's late.
And Joey's fed me a beer.
Yeah. All right, guys. Until then.
It was the weirdest closing ever.